What's up, guys? This is Coach Grant with First Down Training, and today we're going to be talking about some of the biggest mistakes that wide receivers will make at camps, at combines, and in one-on-ones. So I hope this video helps you guys out. Hope it could teach you a few new things. But also, fellas, if you're a wide receiver and you would like a 3-month daily gym workout schedule that you can follow, check out that very first link in the description below for our 12-week wide receiver gym workout plan. It's 12 weeks of exercises, workout splits, all for you guys to follow, all mapped out for you with sets and reps to do. So check out that very first link in the description below if you're interested in that, fellas. Let's get started with this video. So now, first things first we're going to be talking about here is communicating the depth of your route to the quarterback in one-on-ones. So guys, you got to understand that we need to be on the same page as the quarterback at all times. When you were at a college camp, when you were at a showcase camp, I personally don't like showcase camps. I think those are a waste of time. But college camps, let's say, you're going to be thrown into a situation where you're going to be going one-on-ones with the DB. And you need the quarterback just as much as he needs you. You need to run quarterback-friendly routes, and you need to make sure that you have timing with your quarterback. So when you guys go up to the quarterback and you give him a route, I can't tell you how many times we see this, because we have camps, right? And at the end of every single camp that we do one-on-ones. And I hear it every single state that we go to. A receiver will tell a guy, okay, I'm going to go run I'm going to do a stutter, and then I'm going to run a comeback, or I'm gonna go run a post, and the quarterback just goes, okay, yeah. And it's on the quarterback just as much as you, but you have to communicate the depth to him, or else this is going to happen. So let's play this full speed. So this wide receiver comes off, he does a little stutter into a stop route where he just puts the brakes on. But he has to come back to the ball, and he ends up getting what? Like a 3-yard gain on a 12 to 15-yard route. The DB is completely fine with a 3-yard gain on this, right? Because if this was first down, now it's 2nd and 7, right? Totally fine with that type of gain. So why is this? Because the quarterback is insanely late with the ball because he doesn't know when you are breaking. Guys, quarterbacks don't throw the ball late on purpose. They throw the ball late because they don't know when you're going to break. Every single quarterback knows that they should not throw a comeback, they should not throw a stop, they should not throw an out route late. They're not going to do it on purpose. They do it usually because they don't know when you're breaking. Because you see how quarterbacks drop back in one-on-ones. And this is another problem. He takes a step. Now he's holding the ball. He's waiting for us to break. And when he's waiting for us to break and you see him throw the ball, he throws this thing incredibly late. But if this wide receiver would have told him, hey, I'm going to go run a stop route, and my stop route's going to be at 12 yards. That quarterback knows when he gets to 12 yards, he can anticipate it, he can throw it on time, and he can put it on his outside shoulder for a 12-yard gain, and that makes me look good as a wide receiver and me stand out, and that also makes the quarterback job a lot easier. And guess what? He's going to want to keep coming back to us and throwing us the ball, which makes us stand out in a camp setting. So fellas, don't be that guy that just says, hey, I'm just going to go do this. You got to give him depth. You got to tell the quarterback when you're breaking. Because, guys, one-on-ones is a receiver and DB drill. It is not for quarterbacks. Quarterbacks get the most out of it that they put in. The quarterback is not going to get much out of one-on-ones if he's just sitting there waiting for us to make a cut, sitting, waiting. They have to throw the ball on time. And that's what a college coach is going to want to see out of a quarterback. But if they don't know when we're breaking, they are not going to throw the ball. So let's play this again, full speed one more time. So remember, fellas, give the QB the depth of your break. We do not want a 3-yard gain on a 15-yard route. Okay, so now, second mistake that wide receivers will make in one-on-ones. This is film from a showcase camp that I believe took place on the East Coast. I'm not 100% sure. This clip was sent to me and was asked to be broken down. So I think one of the mistakes that wide receivers make in one-on-ones is they forget the importance of restacking. Again, it comes back to the very first thing that I said. Quarterbacks need us as much as we need them. We need quarterbacks to be on point. And how quarterbacks can be on point is we give them space to lead us, to throw us open, to be more consistent, just to have confidence in the throw, fellas. So this wide receiver is going to be running like a 10-yard out route, right? So a 10-yard out versus this inside shade catch technique coverage. So wide receivers, when you guys are going up against a DB in a real game, in one-on-ones, in a camp, you need to have something called a pre-snap process. Your pre-snap process, you're trying to identify 3 specific things about a DB. Number 1, his leverage. So his leverage is pretty much essentially where he is shaded. Is he shaded to the inside? Is he head up? Or is he shaded to the outside? That tells you what he is trying to accomplish with this route. So when he's inside leverage, or that's what he's trying to accomplish with this coverage. So when he's inside leverage, that tells you he's trying to prevent the inside route and force you to the sideline. Automatically, we know that just by his alignment. We know a lot about just about his alignment. Now, the reason why you also need a pre-snap process is it helps me dictate what release I'm going to use off the ball. So if he's inside shade and he's about 5 yards away from me, I know with my release, I'm not going to be able to just give a jab inside, then go. I'm going to have to close the distance. I'm going to have to attack him inside, but I'm also going to have to step on his toes. So that helps me pick a release. And then the last thing you want to identify is his coverage. Pretty easy in one-on-one. It's obviously going to be man coverage. That's more for like a real game scenario. So this wide receiver starts out great. But watch what ends up happening. He attacks his leverage, threatens him inside, but he runs away, and he gets forced to the sideline. Now, if this DB had a little bit better technique, this probably would have been a pick. Here's why. So when this wide receiver comes up and attacks him, attacks his leverage, threatens him to the inside, but you see, he doesn't get hip to hip with him. He doesn't get skinny. He just kind of tries to run around. Now, if this DB wouldn't have crossed his feet over like so and had his feet stay dead and his base very wide, if he would have kept his feet active and he would have stayed square and he got hands on this wide receiver and he would have been right on his hip, that ball would have been dead. That quarterback would have had to throw that thing out of bounds because we tried to run around him. What this wide receiver should have done is he should have had a plan. Okay, I'm going to attack him inside and I'm going to have a plan to beat his outside arm. I'm going to get skinny. So when you get to the break point, even if this DB's right on your hip, at least you have space for the QB. So please don't be that guy, fellas. Don't be that guy that runs away from contact, that tries to run around DBs, because again, in one-on-ones, it might be cool. You might get separation against a DB who doesn't have the best type of technique. You might get separation, but in a real game, that's not going to fly. And now, why is this important, right? Because you might just think, well, coach, I got a catch. It doesn't matter. This play was a catch. I won the rep. A college coach wants to see realistic routes, and he doesn't want to see unrealistic one-on-one routes. That's the easiest way to turn off a coach, is by running unrealistic routes. Like another one that I'll see is, like, let's say, for example, this DB's inside shade, and you have to run a dig route. Guys will like square up this DB just like this wide receiver does, and then they cut across his face, and this DB gets hands, and they end up catching the dig, but it's on like the opposite hash. Like, that's not realistic, guys. Like, in a real game, there's going to be other receivers, there's going to be other defenders. That's never going to happen. What you would do on that dig is you would attack him, you'd give him a move inside, and take the outside release. Work to stack, but stay tight to him in case he plays it well, so maybe you slip underneath him. But you have space. Your spacing on the play is the same. College coaches want to see you run routes that are realistic, that have realistic spacing, and that have realistic timing. But when you try to run around and you're hugging the sideline, anybody knows that if this DB was a little bit tighter in coverage, and he should have been if he had had better technique, he could have picked that thing off. And I'm not knocking the receiver. I just think they need to coach him up a little bit better on this in this showcase environment. So let's play this again, full speed one more time. Again, fellas, remember, do not run away. If a DB stays disciplined and he shuffles and he is right on our hip, we have nothing on that route. So now, this is a clip here from one of my camps that we had in St. Louis, Missouri. So this is an example that I see a lot of times that wide receivers will do on a fade ball. So when you're running a fade, you cannot just rely on your speed. You need to have some kind of technique, okay? So a lot of times, wide receivers get anxious. They see a DB who's lined up inside shade press, and they have to run this deep fade to the outside. They just try to go run, right? That's the same thing as that 10-yard out that we were talking about. We never want to run away from a DB. We want to run quarterback-friendly routes because, like I said, we need the quarterbacks just as much as they need us. And we make the quarterback's job easier. We have more chances to make plays, which are important at camps, when I run a quarterback-friendly route. So let's watch what this wide receiver does. So this DB's inside shade, press coverage pretty tight, and we know that it's man. So that's our pre-snap process. We know he's trying to prevent a slant, and he is trying to force me to this sideline. So what we should do off the line is, okay, I'm going to close the little distance that I have, fake like I'm running a slant, so whether that's a crossover, whether that's a quick jab inside, whatever it is. My goal is to hold him inside so I could get hip to hip with him on the stem of the route, stay on the top or middle of the numbers, and give that quarterback 5 to 7 yards to fade me. But what this wide receiver does, and again, it's just a learning moment. We correct them up on this because this is not the type of showcase camp. At a college camp, they're not going to correct you up on this. They're just going to see a bad rep and then they're going to move on and they're not going to look at you again. At this type of camp that we do, we'll actually correct you, right? So let's watch what he does. So he comes off the ball and he just runs, right? So he runs, he started on the top of the numbers, and you see where he ended up. He's maybe like 2 yards from the sideline. Guys, that's such a tough throw for the QB. Like, even if you got this DB beat by a step, when you don't give him room to fade you, it's so tough. Take it from a guy who's got experience of both positions, coaching receivers, playing receiver, playing quarterback. Guys, you need to give him room. He will not be able to make this throw. And you see the throw is underthrown. The ball was put inside, and DB can make a play on it because we didn't attack him. If he would have been able to stay just even on this blue line here, even on the bottom of the numbers, that's plenty of room. But when you just run away, fellas, that is not a quarterback friendly route. So guys, just don't make these mistakes in one-on-ones. Don't make these mistakes on camps because again, it is the summer. Camps are starting up again. You got to know how to run your routes and how to run them efficiently. All right, fellas, I really want to thank you for watching. I really appreciate it. If you have any questions at all, don't hesitate to leave those in the comment section below. Always appreciate the feedback. It's always great to hear from you guys. And again, fellas, if you would like a 3-month wide receiver gym workout schedule that you can do, everything mapped out for you with sets, reps, examples of the exercises, check out that very first link in the description below. We'd love to get you on that. I'll see you guys next time.